What is up, everyone? It is October 11th, 11 a.m. on the East Coast. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Experts. My name is Jay Vix. I'm the host of Meet the Experts and the owner of JVI Mobile Marketing and the How To Agency, which focuses on teaching small business owners how to market their business online, gives small business owners the opportunity to be seen, get some visibility in their brand, and also to allow them to start conversations. But we really just focus on people allowing business owners to tell their story. Today, we've got somebody with a heck of a good story. No pressure on my buddy Dan, who's about to come up here in just a second. Dan Caputo was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He happens to be a New York Mets fan. So I just said it out there. I put it out there for the world to see. But so you people in Philly are, why not a Phillies fan? Maybe we'll ask him as a bonus question today. But he has lived. I thought this was interesting because I met Dan probably, I don't know, 12 or 15 or 20 years. I don't even know how many years ago now, down in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I just realized in reading Dan's bio that he has lived in Wilmington, Delaware and Wilmington, North Carolina, which I thought was cool. I know his wife, Rochelle, as well, and they were both drug reps for a long time in their careers. Dan has been in the pharmacy business for forever, and he has over the last few years kind of transitioned to really just helping people in life and in what they do. And that's really what drives him and fuels him. So without further ado, I'm going to let Dan tell you all about his story. So let me bring him on up here. Dan, welcome to Meet the Experts.
What do you say, Jay?
Oh, I do gotta say that I just did realize that if you were born and raised in Philly, how did you become a Mets fan?
Ooh, well, you know what? Make it worse. I'm a Giants fan as well in football. So my dad raised us to really not root for Philadelphia teams. He used to say, all they do is let you down. And even though we rooted for them, we were let down a lot. So I just started rooting for football around '86 and baseball at the same time.
There
Giants
you go.
had a great Super Bowl with Phil Simms, and if you remember the ball that went under Buckner,
I
that led to
do.
the Mets winning the World Series. Sorry, so
Yep.
yeah, I just kind of started rooting for them and stuck with them. Not to say they've won a lot since then, but I've just kind of stayed loyal. So yeah,
That's awesome, though. No, look, as a New York sports fan, when your dad told you about not rooting for Philly teams because they let you down, I'm a Jets fan, so I've
yeah,
been let down my whole life. The
yeah,
last 2 weeks have actually been kind of a nice surprise, but very cool. So,
yeah.
listen, obviously, nobody that's watching this came to listen to us talk about New York sports. So let's shift gears and tell us more a little bit about you and who you are and what you do.
So for the record, Jay, I'm going to just put this out there. I was saying to myself, do I wear a hat? Do I not wear a hat? So I put a hat on, obviously, because I realized deep down that I do not have hair as cool as yours. So I'm glad I'm kind of putting the hat on and won't be able to show it. Um, so yeah, but who I am, honestly, I'm just a healthcare professional. My brother's a doctor. I'm a pharmacist. My wife's a counselor. After finishing college, I was a pharmacist, as you touched on a little bit, behind the counter for a little over a year. I became a drug rep for a little over 5 years, and then went back to being a pharmacist behind the counter for over 16 years now. Um, a lot of things that I noticed was restrictions that the insurance companies have provided, or at least restrictions they forced upon all of us, can lead to some frustration. I've seen firsthand physicians being frustrated, other pharmacists being frustrated, and honestly, patients getting frustrated as well. Um, so one of the things I felt called to do, being the helper that I have and the heart that I have, is that I'm a provider and I want to be as unselfish as possible. And I just feel called to exploring other unrestricted options for helping people find their ways and clear their paths. And that's kind of why I took on coaching.
I love that. And by the way, I wanted to put out that, yeah, if you have a question or a comment for Dan, you can go ahead wherever you're watching this, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, go ahead and put a question or a comment in, because the reason I thought of that early in the episode is because Christine said, "Hi, Dan." So she's out watching on LinkedIn right now. So that's awesome. So
Thanks,
um,
Christine.
cool deal. I'm gonna put up also your banner for just some. I thought it was really inspirational. A lot of people just say, "Hey, if you want to get a hold of me, just do this." But you put some actual words of inspiration and wisdom as well in here. And your contact info. So, all right. So tell me a little bit. As a coach, what are some of your, like, what is your main service, or it's probably not productized, but a service, and who can you help?
So as a life coach, I'm going to find ways to examine personalized options for individuals so they can make progress one step at a time. So as an example, if someone wants to maybe change their career, I'm going to help them examine themselves a little bit more to come up with options that are going to work for them. So for instance, if Jay wants to do something like become a Mets fan, it may not work the same for somebody like Dan, who is already a Mets fan, or Sally's approach to advancing her way at work is not going to be the same as what Joanna's way is to advance her way at work. Another good example that I've kind of done more than once is if Sarah wants to learn how to manage her time better, I'm going to help her understand what works for her, and we work together to help her do that. The ultimate goal, that what I want to offer others, is to make my clients' goals match their individual needs in whatever season of life they're in. And it's really just to empower them. And I can go on and on about different definitions, things like that. Can I share a couple definitions that I really like?
Absolutely, please do. It'll help people.
And you can see them on my website. But honestly, what I love is life coach as a noun, a person whose job is to improve the quality of his or her client's life by offering advice on personal and professional matters such as career, health, personal relationships, etc. And another great definition, life coach is someone who helps clients hone in on what they want and work with them to set achievable goals to live the life they desire. And I'll ask you personally, Jay, what kind of sports did you have when you were growing up, or even now? You can think about coaching, but tell me about sports you've played and how coaches work with you.
Yeah, it's so funny that you said that, and thanks for flipping it on me for a second. I like it. I just had this conversation with someone yesterday, and I was telling them that I believe that coaches are important in many different areas of your life and in all aspects of your life. So even growing up, obviously I played sports and I had coaches, but even still to this day, I surround myself with a bunch of other digital marketing agency owners. And what do we talk about? How we're going to get better in our agency. So we're all kind of peer coaching each other. I play golf. I've been playing golf for 20 years and I wasn't getting any better. So what did I do? I got an instructor. Now I have a golf coach. Right? I'm still not getting that much better because golf is really hard, but I am improving considerably thanks to what he's showing me and helping me do on a weekly basis. I see him pretty much every Friday. I feel like, if there's, I've known tons of people in my life with, addiction or other types of issues, and they have either sponsors or mentors or coaches in their life. Right. So I feel like it's critical. I think if you go through life without somebody coaching or mentoring you, your quality of life is going to suffer, because you just need people that might have been through something or have more experience or can see things in others better to go through it. So I do find that it would be no different with life coach, whether it's I have a financial advisor. I mean, there's coaches everywhere I turn, right? So that would be my answer about it. I think it's really important what you do.
No, and that's perfect. I appreciate you sharing that because you made it really, you put a good picture. You drew a nice picture for that because the golf coach or the golf instructor that works with you can see positives and negatives in you. They're not the same with someone else, and he's going to get you to work on helping out your positives and letting go of your negatives. And that's kind of a lot of how it is. If your backswing has to work on, if your form has to be worked on, your backswing is not the same as anyone else's, and that's what really a good coach works on with people. That's it. It makes it very individual and very empowering.
Mhm.
So again, the service that I offer others is to help people get from where they are to where they want to be. All right. And so where you are in golf, where you want to be in golf. Where you are in marketing, where you want to be in marketing. So it's great because I already shared an example of time management and career change, but other life coaching options I'm here to help with are, and we're going to get into a little bit later, I'm sure, but men that hope to improve their relationships, how to deal with maybe some mild to moderate trauma. Heck, I think you touched on addiction, how to overcome our unique ways of self-sabotage, or even, there's all kinds of porn addictions, like the biggest thing that has my heart because it's such an unacceptable, it's an accepted unacceptable is what I refer to it as. So, also how to take responsibility. We can go on for a lot of lists, but I'm just a vessel to help point the way and clear the path for each individual person that wants to work on their present selves to improve their situations.
I have never heard of the acceptable, unacceptable before, and I think that is brilliant. So that was really good. Hey, so as you've been working with people, and I know that it's quite confidential and private, so I would never ask for a name of somebody or anything, but has anybody ever just, can you share a win or a testimonial that somebody has shared with you?
Absolutely, yeah, and I appreciate you preceding that. So if you check out my website or look me up on LinkedIn, you'll see some testimonials. And I like to start with a positive, so I'll start with a testimonial. They're both positive. I can share. One great thing that blew me away is when you feel the connection to people and you understand them for who they are and what they are. You get a lot more progress than if you don't. So a more recently shared referral is that Dan is a wonderful coach. He listens attentively, is able to recall details that you may have shared weeks before. His presence creates a relaxed and safe environment for you to open up and be supported free of judgment. His support has led to me feel empowered and in control of my life. So that was a great testimonial, and it was, left me speechless, which is tough to do. Tough to do. Recent win. I did have a client that grew tired of living with her parents and the salary she was making. She had done a couple things to advance her education, but was still stuck in the role she was in. She felt lost. She felt unclear. And the biggest thing is she felt was overwhelmed. So we sat down, we took a few weeks to understand her better, understand what will work for her better. And we took the steps needed to advance her. Again, it doesn't happen overnight. It's just progress. Next thing you know, after she landed an interview, she had a new career, and her situation is way different than when it was when we started. And that's really it. That's what works. And do I say that she's where she wants to be? No, but she at least took steps in the direction that she wants to be in now, and it's a better situation she's coming from compared to where she was and where she started at. So, I can certainly talk to her more about advancing and going different directions, but right now she took the steps she needed to where she wanted to be.
Well, as you were saying that, I was looking at the ticker, and it mentions progress, not perfection. It seems like she made some considerable progress, but perfection is kind of this utopian goal. But if we can work towards it and just understand that we're never going to be perfect, then I think that you're going to make you have nothing but progress to make if you're working on it, right? If you're working with somebody to help you. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
now I know you were a pharmacist or you are a pharmacist for a long time.
Yeah.
And you've done stuff, but as far as the coaching that you're doing, the life coaching and support that you're offering, the question is kind of earned it, learned it, proved your authority. So what kinds of certifications or training did you have to go through to become a life coach?
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's a good question. So in 2020, when the pandemic happened, there was a lot more time you had at home and a lot more time you can put into other things because you couldn't leave the house if you weren't working. So I took it upon myself to take on a class with a school called Health Coach Institute. It was almost a year where I got to be doing the courses I needed to and the practice I needed to become a certified life and health coach. The good news is I've been able to do a little bit more research now. I say good news, but it's actually it's officially recognized by the International Coaching Federation. There are a lot of other things out there where it's not recognized by the ICF, but I know for a fact the school I went to was. On top of that, I've been trying to hone my skills a little bit more personally and just adding some different pieces to my arsenal and expand my education. So I spent 8 weeks completing something called Clarity for Coaches, which is led by someone named Jennifer Grace. I did a 13-week course with a company called Better Up that is huge right now. They have like 4,000 coaches that work for them. And then an awesome 7-week program that changed me personally called Positive Intelligence. Of all the things you do, it struck me as how to examine myself better and change my mindset. And I plan to continue to add aspects of coaching to help me learn different ways and adding more tools to my toolbox to help individuals.
I love that. I love that. Look, you have a lot of life experience and you have a lot of experience in the health industry and seeing patients that needed to be on different, not patients of yours necessarily, but like,
Yeah.
you would help fulfill or fill the prescriptions of things. So you understand how certain things affect other people, and being in that health industry for a long time, I think that's kind of the basis. And then of course, having a heart to help and teach and coach. You said you saw an opportunity where you could take your experience and then learn how to apply that experience with others in a professional environment, and you've done it. I think that's huge. And congratulations on that, because it's not easy to try to do work full time and then still learn. I know I've taken so many like continuing education type of classes and certifications and stuff in my own life, and some were way more difficult than others when you're trying to moonlight and get a certification. So congratulations on those. That 7-week positive intelligence sounds pretty amazing. Tell us just something that in your career now or in life that you're just really, really thankful for.
I mean, really, honestly, truly, I would say second chances. There's 2 really good examples that I can share real quick. Back in 01, I was a pedestrian that got struck by a car and had a really, from what I understand, thankfully, I do not remember a thing. It was I had a traumatic brain injury. Had a lot of recovering to do with that. And, over that time, I learned how much we take for granted. So I think, second chance of life and having different perspective on things just makes you understand things differently. And then again, I said second chances. I touched on it earlier. I struggled with porn and accepting the unacceptable. You see promotions all the time for how easy it is right now with social media. You have a couple websites that they're just available like at the snap of a finger. And my wife Rochelle one time caught me. I'd have a laptop closed and it was still a website on there, and she caught it and she was about to walk out. But she said something called her back and kept her there. Thankfully, I think that was God, or let her spirit talk to her. I don't know, but either way, I'm thankful for it. But again, she gave me a second chance, and since then, with having different perspectives and how much you take for granted and understanding that second chances, we have so many more than just two chances in life and when we learn things from. But, when you end up focusing on something different and understanding that it's not about you, and take away the selfishness that we could all have at times, it just makes you understand things differently and approach things differently. So yeah, that's what I'm thankful for, second chances.
I love that. And you're right. So, they talk about a cat having 9 lives. And I think there's so many times that, I think about it just in my own life, how many chances I've had at different things. And, I think a lot of us, when we're younger, we go through things and we do things as a late teen, early 20 something young person, where we do things that 20 years later, we're looking back and we're like, ooh, cringe, right? I feel almost worse for the teens and 20 somethings now, where their entire lives are on video and it's captured, and people's lives can get ruined for making mistakes that we might have made 20 years ago. And luckily we didn't have social media, and these things for. So I often find that a lot of young people that are going through trouble now, even in pro sports, when we look at athletes that do something so, that we look at and we're like, gosh, that was so dumb of them to do. And then you're like, well, I did things that were dumber than that, and I'm still doing okay. These guys are getting, like, the court of public opinion is severe these days. And it's like, I think we have to, I think as a country, offer them a little bit of grace, and try to, see that maybe they, that they can change, right? That they can do things, that we hope that they learn from it. So that's really, second chances is powerful. That's probably the best, most thankful for, that I've heard in a while. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're about to wrap up. I want to talk to you, in our lives, in our work, in our professional careers. There are just things that people say, maybe they have questions for you, or they're skeptical, or maybe there's just objections to getting coached, why they don't need a coach. What are some things that you hear, and how do you overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the largest objections that I can't stress enough, and when you talk about coach, obviously the fast answer can be, have you ever had a boss that tells you how to do your job well and improve upon that? Have you ever had a coach like you use as an instructor for the golf that you want to improve on, help you out with doing something like that? You basically say, if I had to wave a magic wand and you can change anything about yourself or something you want to accomplish, what would that be? And usually people, when they hear that question, they can understand the importance of a coach, because that's something we can help out with. Right. The biggest thing that I worry about sometimes, and maybe it's because I'm a little biased being married to a counselor, is, can't stress enough, coaching is not therapy. Because, we have talked about it in depth. My wife and I have talked about how they focus on a lot of effects and a lot of damage that have come from your past. And I've been through counseling myself. We've been to marriage counseling just to improve ourselves every 5 years. But there are things that are really ingrained in you that you need to work on before you can get to the present and then worry about your future. So counselor can take care of the past and help you work through that. And now, once you're clear and you feel pretty clean, you feel kind of ready to take on the world, you take where you are now and you go to the future. So if you think that there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, that's not what a coach is for. It's someone that's going to take you where you are and where you want to be. So the couple of things I promise to help with is working with people to help them. And it's not about me, it's about the person. And it's not about saying, you already have coach. That's good. You probably have parents that have told you things to do and not to do. But where you want to go and what you want to do is in your life is not about me. So the other things people are going to ask for, how much does it cost? How long will it take? That varies. I've been successful in a 30-minute session that you do maybe once or twice a month. I've been experienced well with going about an hour, and it may take up to 12 weeks to do. So it really comes down to the person and what will work best for them. And that's something that I'm open to just talk about more in depth. as you see in the little ticker tape here, I offer free consultation. You can call me, text me, go to my website, set something up. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if you do feel the need for a coach, and the two of us don't match up, I have people I can refer you to that'll fit the person better. So
I love that. I'm all about finding the right fit, right? You got to find the right fit, and the fact that you have a network you can tap into to help make sure that the person is getting exactly what they need, and you're looking out for them first is just amazing. Dan, thank you so much for coming on today. At the bottom, we have a ticker. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. The website is dankencoach.com. So just dankencoach.com. Number 704-635-9383. Go ahead and text him. Go visit his website. Dan, thanks for being on Meet the Experts. And man, I really enjoyed this one. I think we went pretty deep in this one. So thanks again.
Thanks for having me, Jay.
Absolutely. Talk soon.
Yep.
All right. That was amazing. That was Dan Caputo, dankencoach.com. If you just feel like you need to talk to someone, right? We'll talk to Dan first. He can point you in the right direction, and maybe he's the right one for you. I've known him a long time. I trust his heart. I trust what he says. And if you're struggling with something, or you think you may be, or you think you just might need to talk to somebody that can help get you to, from point A to point B in your life, then I would at least reach out and tap into his network. So that being said, if you have a small business, or you manage a business, or you just want to get your name and products and services out there and tell your story and be visible, that's what we do with Meet the Experts. It costs you nothing to be a guest. It's a great opportunity to get your name out there into the world, and have this video that you can share with others. So if you want to be a guest, you can visit the website that's at the ticker below, which is guests with an S, guests.howto.agency. No .com on this one. It's guests.howto.agency. And our next episode is 1 week from today. We're coming back to Greensboro with Freeman's Grub and Pub. We're excited to talk to the owners of Freeman's. And until then, have a wonderful week. I know I'm going to be celebrating my daughter's 7th birthday this weekend. I'm really excited about that. And but we will be back next Tuesday with another episode of Meet the Experts. So until then, be good. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.